Hello guys, in this video we are going to discuss about the architecture of JVM, that is Java Virtual Machine, and we can also see what are the different functionalities of JVM. Yeah. So JVM means it is a Java Virtual Machine and it is a part of Java Runtime Engine, that is JRE. So JRE is actually responsible for running your application. As we have seen, we can compile a Java program using Java C compiler. The name of the compiler is Java C compiler. So for example, my program name is a.java. So Java C space a.java, which will generate the dot class file, or else it is also called as bytecode. And now this bytecode will be given to JRE. In this JRE, JVM has main role. So JVM is part of JRE and which is responsible to execute your bytecode. And we know Java has a feature ORA, that is write once, run anywhere. That means you are writing application only for once, but you are executing it in any platform, that is anywhere or everywhere, right? So now this ORA feature is just because of JVM only, Java Virtual Machine. Actually Java is platform independent, but every platform has its own JVM, okay, its own JVM. Now why we are able to running our program in any platform in the sense, because of JVM, Java Virtual Machine. Now this is the process now. So this is the architecture of JVM. We have a unit here. What is that? That is class loader subsystem. So as we know, the output of Java compiler is dot class file. So that dot class file you are giving to class loader subsystem. Now in this class loader subsystem, it will divide the type of the variable, or whether it is a data or functions. Based on that category, it will store each item in different space. Like we have these many spaces like method area, heap, Java stack. So if it is a method, for example, consider we have a class with two methods or with one method, int a, then meth1. The method name is meth1, void meth1. So now whenever you create an object A01, A02, then here for O1 and O2 the memory will be allocated. So in this O1 memory, the memory will be allocated only for the data item A, and for O2 also the memory will be allocated only for the data item A. Whereas this method is common for these two objects, so this method will be stored in the method area. So that is about method area. So if your class is containing any methods, irrespective of number of objects, all those methods will be stored in method area. And coming to heap, so as we know, dynamically allocated memory. So if you are using new operator, everything will be allocated dynamically. So that memory will be allocated within heap space. So heap is for specifically for dynamic memory. And coming to Java stack, so stack is used to store the local variables. For example, I have a class. Within this, I have a data item A, and I have a method meth1. In this method 1, I am declaring a local value B. Now this B is not a part of object. That means whenever you create an object A01 new A, within O1 the memory will be allocated only for the data item A, as it is a data member of class A. But coming to B, it's not a data member, it is a local variable to meth1. So if you have any local variable like this, for this the memory will be allocated within Java stack. And coming to next PC registers, we know the program counter register, which is responsible to execute your program in a particular sequence. Like the instruction to be executed next, that address will be stored in the program counter. Using this, you can follow the sequence of your program. And native method stacks, that means if you have any native methods in your program, those data will be stored in this. So this data, this complete space is for runtime data. This all data, for all these data or methods, the memory will be allocated at runtime only. And now the same thing will be connected to execution engine, which is responsible to execute your system. And also we have native method library, native method interface. So we know native methods in the sense like we are using any methods which are available in another language. That means they are not directly available in your language, they are available in other language, but even though you can use them in your program. Like some of the C methods you can use in Java, like that. So as it is not a direct Java method, you can call them as native methods. So that is about native method. So this is about JVM architecture. And JVM is actually responsible for three main things: loading, linking and initialization. So we will see one by one now. The first one is loading. As we have seen, within the class loader system, we are loading the dot class file. We are giving the dot class file to the class loader subsystem. Now after giving that, what it will do? See, it will say the fully qualified name of the loaded class. That means whatever the class you are giving to JVM, it will save the fully classified name, qualified name. That means including package name, including folder name. So where you have saved that, including everything. So it will save that name. See here, and it's in immediate parent class also. And whether the dot class file is related to class or interface. So in future videos we will see class, along with class we will also see interface. So whether it is a class or interface, for everything a dot class file will be created. Now after giving dot class file, it will find out whether it is an interface dot class file or a dot class dot class file. So that also it will save, and it will also save the modifier, variables, method information, etc. Modifier in the sense access specifier, what you are giving to that method or data. All these things will be maintained in the class loader subsystem. This is about loading phase. So next is linking phase. So within linking phase, we have mainly two phases: verification and preparation. So in the verification, it will ensure the correctness of the dot class name. That means whether you have given the dot class name correctly or not. So if you are using the class name as a.java, then the class file should be a.class. So it will check whether it has given correctly or not. If it give any error in this, it will raise an exception. That means runtime error at runtime, and that exception is known as java.long.verify error. It is an exception which will be raised at runtime. So next, in the preparation phase, JVM allocates memory for class variables and initialization the memory to default values. Like as we know, like if we use new operator, the memory will be allocated at runtime. So those memory, for those variables, the memory will be allocated at runtime in this preparation phase. And next is initialization. In the initialization phase, if we have any static variables, that will be initialized first. As we know, like the static blocks or static variables will be executed first in our program. So generally we know the execution starts from main function, but if we have any static blocks in your program, the importance will be given to static blocks. First static blocks will be executed, after that main block will be executed. So if you have any static variables in your program, that will be initialized in the initialization phase. So these are the different duties of JVM. And also, like here we have not mentioned interpreter, that is also part of JVM, which will perform the error checking. At second level, at compiler level, we are checking the errors, and within the JVM also we are checking the errors. So this is about JVM architecture and the functions of JVM. Thank you.